We are starting grilling season with a classic staple that you are gonna make definitely a couple times a week. We're making the most perfect grilled chicken thighs. I'm throwing some sausages in there as well with a delicious whole lemon salsa verde that it is so to die for. You will love it. I love this recipe. It's what I make all the time in the summer, and I figured grilling season is about to begin, and before we do anything with barbecue sauces and more elaborate dishes, I feel like you kind of just need to perfect something that you will actually make day in and day out. The perfect like grilled chicken, right? Or chicken thighs in this case is what I'm using, and I have a couple tricks that I think really provides the best outcome. These are some sausages. I have a couple of spicy ones and some plain sweet ones. These are Italian sausages. These are chicken thighs. Clean and prep as you wish. You guys know me. I am a clean your chicken kind of gal. Make sure that you are trimming it really well. Bone in, skin on is what you're looking for so that they don't dry out in the grill. I'm not even gonna marinate them. I'm just gonna do a little olive oil, lemon juice, and garlic situation to sort of, I guess, brush all over them before I put them on the grill. Now, ordinarily, you would want to roast or grill something high temperature. Chicken thighs would go on a high temperature grill between 500 and 600, 5-6 minutes aside. I take the slow grill approach. So I do medium heat, so between 350 and 400, and I grill them for a lot longer so that the fat renders really, really nicely. The skin gets really nice and crispy, and best of all, that meat gets so juicy and delicious. And I think the reason why it works is because you're rendering that fat a little bit slower, so it's sort of seeping into the meat itself, leaving it so succulent and delicious. You will love it. If I can get this off, I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna grate them on my coarse grater. You can also just do 1 if you want. I don't want these to be overly garlicky. I'm actually just gonna probably do 1.5. Let's see. We'll see. That's good enough. I don't want it to be overly garlicky, but this just gives you enough flavor to, I feel like, just season the chicken perfectly. I'm gonna juice a whole lemon in there, and I'm gonna add some olive oil. Olive oil. Move this out of the way. Give that a nice little stir. I'm not adding any salt to this because I'm gonna add the salt and the pepper liberally all over my chicken. I'm actually gonna flip it bottom side up so that I can get a little bit of that seasoning, or I should say flavor goodness, all over. And trust me, this is gonna go much further than you think because the garlic is grated, so it's really strong, but it won't overpower. Plenty of salt because you want to make sure it's really well seasoned, and plenty of black pepper. And I'm just gonna use my spoon to kind of make sure that that garlic is, schmooze around like that. I have my grill preheated. You want your grill to be between 350 and 400 because, like I said, we are going to cook these slower than you're used to. I'm going to cook these for about 12 minutes aside, and it provides the most delicious, succulent grilled chicken you've ever had. And this also would work well with drumsticks, of course, but I just prefer thighs just because I feel like there's more meat on them, and they're just, always a good deal, always at a good price. Remember, good amount of salt and pepper. And for the sausages, I kind of like everything together. I think they all go really nicely together, and if you have leftovers, it's really nice the next day, throw them on a sandwich or something. I'm also gonna later on cook some broccoli rabe, so if we do have any leftover sausages tomorrow, heat those up in a skillet with the broccoli rabe, a little provolone in a sandwich. Life is good. Okay, I'm gonna go pop these on the grill, both of them. While the chicken's on the grill, let's make the salsa verde. I'm gonna take a whole lemon, and I am just gonna cut the very end off, and I'm gonna cut it into thin slices. You can do this on the grill, actually. Put the lemon slices directly on the grill, or you can do what I'm doing and just add them in a skillet with a little bit of olive oil. Cut your lemon thin, not too thick, otherwise it's not gonna have the right texture. And you're gonna kind of, dare I say, cook the lemon a little bit. And you're gonna use the entire lemon, the white part and all, except for the seeds, in your salsa verde. And it just adds a different level of lemoniness, if you will. Also just adds a tiny, tiny bit of bitterness that goes really well with all the dill that we're gonna use. And ooh, get out of there. And the chives that are already coming up from the garden from last year, which, how exciting is that? It's just phenomenal. But it also, believe it or not, when you cook lemon, it gets really a little sweet, if you can believe that or not. And that is part of the charm here. It just has like complexity of flavors, and I really like it. So I'm gonna do that. This end piece I'm not gonna use. A little bit more olive oil over the top. And that's gonna get really nice, full of color. You'll see how it looks when it gets there. Let me just grab my baby tongs if I can find them. You know what, I'll just use these. All stuck together. All stuck together. Okay. In the meantime, I am going to very finely chop lots of dill, lots of parsley, and I'm also gonna go and grab my chives, but I want this to be like really finely chopped, not like a little bit. Look at the lemon, by the way. You can start to see around here that the natural sugars in the lemon is starting to come out. See, it's starting to. You want that to be like really nice and deeply golden before you flip them. So I'm gonna let that go, get my chives, and once those are there, I'll show you what they look like. I chopped up some capers. Now, in my world, which, and I know it's not in many of your people's world that you would enjoy this, but in my world, I would really love some anchovies in here. I'm not adding any of them today because I don't want to turn anyone off, but the recipe will have an anchovy option listed for those of you that are like me and you grew up eating anchovies and you would want to add some in here. It just gives you a really nice salty umami flavor that's not at all fishy. It just tastes really delicious, salty, yummy. Think of it like you would use soy sauce or the way you would use Worcestershire, like a different level of saltiness that I love. And I would definitely add this in here. And like I said, on any given time, you'll find anchovies or anchovy paste or something like that in most of the things I cook. I'm gonna add a clove of garlic. I am going to grate it. So I'm only gonna be using one because we all know, if I can get this off, that when you grate garlic, it just gets really, really spicy. I took my lemons out of my skillet. They have been cooling, and that's kind of what you want them to look like. The natural sugars caramelized, and it's just now has like this really interesting, like sweet yet citrusy vibe to them. The skin is really soft and tender, and I am just going to take all of them. I'll just go do a few at a time, and I make sure there's no seeds. I see a seed there that I must have missed, and I'm gonna just give them all a really rough chop, a really fine chop into like a pulp, and just do that, and then add them right to the bowl. And if they're still slightly warm, that's kind, you don't want them to be really hot, but if it's still slightly warm, it's a good thing because it kind of wakes up everything else in the bowl. So like the herbs and the garlic really wake up from the warmth of the lemons. So just give it all a nice chop. I see another seed. What was I doing today, huh? This needs a really good pinch of salt, olive oil. Believe it or not, I'm not gonna ask you for extra virgin. I'm gonna ask you for plain olive oil here because it can feel a little too strong if you're using that much extra virgin olive oil. So, especially with that raw garlic, it can feel, dare I say, spicy. And some fresh lemon juice. To taste, really, this is not super juicy lemon, so I'm gonna go with a whole lemon. And this, you're gonna get that fresh lemon juice flavor, but that cooked or roasted or grilled lemon, which you could roast or grill or whatever, is gonna give you a different, like a totally different aspect of lemon, which is just so good. And it's green and it's delicious, and you're gonna add more olive oil. You probably need like a total of a cup or so, because this is a salsa verde, so it is pretty forward. You're not gonna use all of it all over your chicken, or maybe you will, but this would also be a fantastic marinade. It's just, look at that. It's just beautiful. Let's taste. That's perfect. That's perfect. It's lovely. It's strong, it's assertive, it's complex, it's divine. I'm gonna go take my chicken off the grill, and then we'll put it all together. So what I did was I put the chicken on the grill. Remember, the grill was not very hot. I put the sausages right next to it as well. I covered the lid, and I made sure to keep the temperature between 350 and 400, and I left them for about 12 minutes per side. Then I flipped them, let them continue cooking, and then I took them out, and they've been resting for about 5-6 minutes. And you want to make sure your meat is resting so that you get really juicy, delicious meat every single time. You really want that protein, like I said, to really be bouncy and juicy and delicious. I'm gonna actually add some olives. I love these Castelvetrano olives. They are so delicious, and this is the kind of like easy weeknight cooking that you can face making no matter how busy you are, because honestly, it's just, if you get that technique down of cooking your meat just right, then the rest is really easy. It kind of takes care of itself. And then you have this gorgeous salsa verde, which you can serve on the side if you want. I think adding some to some of the chicken and adding some to the side is so perfect. It's pungent, it's delicious, it's gonna mix with that sausage juices. It's all just pretty dynamite if you ask me. And then if you wanna add a little herb action, just take some dill. I love dill, top 3 favorite herb for sure, next to parsley and basil, of course. And that's pretty much it. I think a nice maybe scattering of fresh salt would be nice, just kind of on top of the whole thing. And that is it. It's easy, simple, home cooking. I'm dying to dive into this chicken thigh. So look at it. It's beautiful, okay? Because I'm gonna try not to destroy this too much, but I want you to see how, first of all, look at the juices that collect in the bottom of that plate. And look at this, just like insane. It's just juicy and bouncy and unreal, unreal. Get that technique down of a lower and slower method of grilling your chicken on the grill, and your life will never be the same. It's dynamite. I'm actually gonna cut some chives, put that on top as well. And then we're gonna go have dinner. LauraInTheKitchen.com. I'm looking for my knife. Dov'è? LauraInTheKitchen.com will have the written recipe ready for you. Hope you enjoyed spending time with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.